Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your June 2025 tarot readings for your North Node by sign and house for the second half of June. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in tarot readings as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant sign is that it's recognized in astrology your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn, accomplish, and master in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant to your everyday life and much more accurate in tarot readings. Now remember, you're going to want to watch two readings, one for your North Node sign and one for your North Node house. And always remember, no matter what's going on in the collective as we live our lives, it's all about our personal path and what we're here to do. With that, I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides, guardians, and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see and hear this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries and or the first house. Okay, so the card that popped out for you is the Page of Cups. And when I saw this card along with some other cards here, the theme for you, North Nodes in Aries and or the first house for the second half of June is all about the balance between, emotions and also seriousness. There's a time and place for both in our life. Now, too much, emotional energy can almost be like there could be like an emotional immaturity where there are emotions that are just running rampant, and then too little emotional balance in our life. It could be like a too serious of an energy, and so there has to be this balance. Now, for some of you, I think that literally this Page of Cups is saying that this could involve like a younger person, whether that be an age or it could be an emotionally immature person, okay? And then for others of you, it's meaning that, is there areas of your life where maybe you need to take things more seriously, and or where you need to kind of lighten up? That's kind of like the whole vibe that I'm getting for the second half of June. But let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Knight of Cups reversed. You've got the Wheel of Fortune card upright, and you've got the King of Swords reversed. Now, we'll take this King of Swords actually, and we'll take this Knight of Cups reversed. Along with this Page of Cups, this is what I'm saying. Like, you could say that like the King of Swords reversed is like almost like overthinking, being too serious. There's a time when, as I said, we need to take life more seriously, but we really can't go through life like that because it's a very kind of stifling and kind of stiff way to go through life. I mean, we've all met people like that where they're just like, way too serious, and we could tell that they need to like lighten up. We also have run into people where it's like everything is just a joke, and they might be kind of, not only that, but kind of emotionally immature. So this is playing out for you. And for some of you, it's going to be like this theme is going to be within, it could be with somewhere in your life, within yourself, or for a lot of you, it's definitely going to be people outside your life that you're having to deal with, because having to deal with someone that maybe has an imbalance in this area, either being like too serious or not serious enough, or being a little bit like emotionally stifled, or too much emotion, it can be very difficult to kind of deal with that in our life. And so this is an important aspect of your path, because of you look at your North Node in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, which is kind of a serious planet. And then, you have your South Node in Libra ruled by Venus, which is all about, love and emotion. So this balance is coming up time and time again, within your life. And it's something that you need to find this balance on. Now, the way this can play out, which is really important, is you have this Wheel of Fortune. This is saying that wherever this is in your life, like if you definitely need to like make some adjustments somewhere in certain relationships in your life, whether that be, as I said, with you or with others exhibiting this imbalance, it can have an effect on how you are proceeding forward, like how the quality of your life. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is like, we have up times and we have down times, but a lot of times in our life, our up times and our down times are not just a roll of the dice or by chance. A lot of times we help bring those good times in, or sometimes other people can make those sometimes kind of difficult. Okay, so thus the Wheel of Fortune. So in this case, I'm feeling like this is going to definitely play out in some positive way. Now, what do I mean by all this? Let me give you some practical examples so you can kind of like wrap your head around it. So let's say you're dealing with someone in your life who is emotionally immature, okay? And you've got to find a way to, it could be someone at work, it could be someone in your family close to you, and you have to deal with them on a regular, daily basis type of a thing. Maybe that person at work, you're trying to, maybe you supervise them or something, or you just work with them, right? And it can be very difficult because you're trying to get things done in your life. Or maybe there's situations in, your life where people are taking things too seriously all the time, and that could be very difficult, whether that be, with yourself or through others. Okay, and all of those things, it can play out, like I feel like this can play out with helping you with this energy, with this Wheel of Fortune, to make things better. You can ride this energy, and you can you know clears things up. It's like this clarity that I see coming in. The other thing too is when you look at your North Node, one of the things about your particular North Node is there is definitely a time for seriousness, because you know there could be something with your Aries North Node or in the first house where you have to set boundaries with people, okay? You have to say no. You have to have the ability to, maybe someone's used to getting their way all the time in something, and you have to, this lifetime is about you honoring your desires and needs and putting those, you know, out in the world that is of importance. So you might have to say no to somebody. And so again, they might not like that. But that's why this is very important. It's nothing that is kind of minor. It can really have a great impact on your life in a positive way. Now, the two advice cards you have is you've got the Nine of Wands reversed, and you've got the Hanged Man upright. Starting with the Nine of Wands reversed, one of the things that you're going to notice this second half of June is there could be patterns that you're going to see that have come up. Like if you really look at what's going on the second half of June regarding this, like, balance between seriousness and emotional playfulness, right? Or being immature type of a thing, you're going to see that this has had a lot of impact at different times in your life. Like you're going to recognize patterns if you look carefully. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're not repeating the same kind of patterns. So let's say that you have a person in your life who is kind of used to getting their way all the time, okay? They're just like very, like childlike, and they're always like, oh, you're going to just always do this for me. You're going to always be there for me. But you've been feeling the need to where, you just have to set some boundaries, and you might have to say no about something, right? And so what this is saying is that don't fall into patterns, like don't go back into the comfort zone and give in. And that's the kind of difficult thing here, is because it's very easy for all of us, whatever our personal patterns are, to kind of fall into that if we're not careful. So recognize the patterns and like do something different. And then the Hanged Man is saying that this is recognizing something, not only the patterns, but seeing things from, different angles. Now, what do I mean by that? Meaning that always remember that when you have to stand in your strength and your power, and you're trying to balance out things within you and within your life, you know what's best for you. You will always be rewarded. If you have your North Node in Aries or the first house, you'll always be rewarded for being strong, for standing your ground, for setting boundaries, for taking action, and for following your instincts. You will be rewarded for that. And so this is noticing that, but realizing that you don't really have to bend over backwards for everybody in your life in order to be loved and to be kind. A lot of times you don't have to do anything. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to do anything special, and that's going to help you kind of put things in perspective. And this is all about perspective here. So yeah, interesting reading for the second half of June. Make sure that you recognize any of these imbalances, and that you're having the balance between, being emotionally playful and, pliant and flexible, as well as times to be more serious and maybe kind of set boundaries. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus and or the second house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the Justice card upright. And when I saw this card, I immediately felt what was going to happen the second half of June for you North Nodes in Taurus and or the second house. There's an area or areas of your life the second half of June where I feel you're going to have to be a judge, a literal, like you're having to judge a situation and look at it fairly and balanced for what it is. Now, why is that important? Well, based on your South Node in Scorpio and or the eighth house, the energy that you've come into this life with that South Node in Scorpio or the eighth house is this it's like one of the most closely, intimately connected energy that you bring into this life with, especially in relationships with other people, okay? Energetically intimate. Now, when I mean intimate, we're not talking about intimate partnerships. We're talking about all your relationships are very, people that are close to you, no matter who they are, you're intimately or very closely connected. Now, why is that important? Because when we are so close to a situation or a person or a relationship, sometimes we don't see it clearly. That's why you'll say like, hey, like step away, get a bigger perspective. You'll hear that a lot. And so I think there's going to be situations in your life where you're being asked to judge it clearly for what it is. And in order to do that, you're going to have to step back to really see what's kind of going on, okay? And this is part of you stepping into your power in this lifetime, which is the ability you'll always have that beautiful energy of being able to be, it is a gift, being able to be intimately connected with people on an emotional, physical, psychological level. The reason that's a gift is because most of you have the ability to, psychologically read people and situations, just what's going on. You can read the undercurrents. But just like everything else, it's like a double-edged sword, right? There's good aspects and there's not so good aspects of that, because that close connection can sometimes not give the proper perspective. So I think that there's some situations that you're going to have to like step back and really kind of judge in a clear way. Now, the situations I feel are going to be for each of you different. One of areas is there's going to be an area with these timeline cards of possibly money, finances, promotions, anything that like of a valuable, tangible nature type of a thing. I'm getting that feeling, property, possessions, things like that. There's going to be some situation for some of you that's going to, relate to that. And I say that because of this Ace of Pentacles. The other cards you have on your timeline is you've got the Queen of Pentacles upright, and you also have the Two of Cups upright. Now, we'll take the Two of Cups here, and then we'll take this Ace of Pentacles. So as I said, for some of you, there's going to be a situation where it's regarding, money, finances, possessions, etc., right? And then for others, it's going to be a strictly emotional situation, relationship, where you need to like step back to see something clearly, some relationship in your life, and you're able to know what's going on. And what you want to do with this is you want to make sure that the answer for you is going to be in the stepping back and being this like impartial judge, where you are able to step back and see things clearly. Because if you don't have the ability to kind of separate yourself and see things clearly, it's going to be very difficult to make the correct decision. So I feel like, as I said, it's going to be, something regarding these two things. On the emotional front, you will get the idea that you're on the right track when you get this moment of clarity. And that's kind of what I'm seeing in both of these situations, where some of you will have both of these situations happen maybe multiple times the second half of June. For others, it could be just one. But you're going to know when you're on the right track, because you're going to feel this like sudden clarity, like, oh, I see it. Like, almost like, to give an example, is when you are looking at one of those like puzzles that you have to look at in a weird way in order to see it. And at first you don't see it, but then as you maybe change your perspective and you adjust your eyes, all of a sudden you see the hidden picture within the picture type of a thing. And so, but it's that sudden moment of, oh, now I see it. So that you're going to know you're on the right track when you kind of get that moment of clarity. And then this Queen of Pentacles is saying, this is about, you skill building and stepping into your power of your North Node in Taurus, and or the second house. And this is you, as I said, becoming the highest version of yourself, the ability to keep those close connections and ties within your life, but also having the ability to step away when you need to, and see things in kind of a clear and proper way. And that's really what this is it's this, remember, a key word for you in this lifetime is independence, but not independence completely, just the ability to be independent thinking, feeling, experiencing life, but also with a connection. Okay. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Three of Cups reversed, and you've got the Nine of Swords reversed. One of the things that is going to happen with this is, with this Nine of Swords reversed, I feel like a lot of you, regarding these situations that are happening, they've been causing you some anxiety and worry. They've been causing you to maybe like not sleep well, and there's things that are causing you anxiety. I feel like that's going to go away when the reward for doing this and for seeing things correctly, and the ability to really kind of have that moment of like, okay, I see what's going on. When you do that, it's going to help with that anxiety and that you could be feeling about these situations in your life, and kind of any sort of stress will kind of like go away. That's the number one thing. The number two thing over here with this Three of Cups is the reason that, as I said, this is, when you look at this card, this is being emotionally intertwined with others. Okay. This card has, just like all the tarot cards, multiple layers of meaning. But one of the meanings is close emotional interaction, close emotional intertwining with people in relationships. Now, as I said earlier, that is a gift. But the reason that it can be difficult is because when we are so closely, intimately intertwined with situations and people and relationships in our life, it's hard to be a clear judge of things. So that's all this is this is giving you the space in order to back away, in order to see things which really will improve your life. And as I said, this is a skill building. This is part of you becoming more independent in this lifetime and not fully dependent on the closeness of relationships and situations around you, but having this kind of balance. But anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be a link in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Gemini and or the third house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Magician card upright. And this is one of the cards that represents the energy of Gemini, especially with the planet Mercury. And I'm feeling like for the second half of June, there is this energy almost like learning to live your life in different ways, or almost like a life hack, like learning how to do something or some things differently, or like also there's like this learning I'm getting involved. So for some of you, it could be like learning something new or learning multiple things. I just feel like there's this learning that's coming in. I do feel that it has to do for a lot of you with your work or career, or something that you're doing on a daily basis, on a regular basis. And so that could encompass like, things you do as far as, working with, charities, organizations, also in your hobbies and things like that. But there's this, energy of like learning to do things in new ways, or like a skill building type of energy for the second half of June. Let's get some more clarity. We'll look at your timeline cards. So you've got the Eight of Pentacles reversed. You've got the Seven of Swords reversed. And you've got the King of Cups upright. Now, when I say that this has to do with like work or something you're doing, it's not only because of this Eight of Pentacles, but also because you have one of your advice cards, you've got the Three of Pentacles reversed. So you've got the Three of Pentacles reversed with the Eight of Pentacles reversed. And I feel like for a lot of you, what it is that there is something to where something you're doing for work or on a regular basis is not being received well, or there's some issue or problems. Okay, now the reason I say that it's not only it's not necessarily just work or career is because some of you, you're not working in a career right now. Maybe you are a stay-at-home parent, or you're retired, or something to that, but it's still the same thing, because this could apply, like if you were a stay-at-home parent, this could apply to what you're doing on a daily basis around the house, or if you're working for a charity organization. So as I said, it's for the majority of you, it's about work and career, right? But for a lot of you, as I said, it's going to be other things you're doing on a regular basis. And I feel like there's some things where there's some issues that are coming up, and it's almost like this problem that has to be solved, and I feel like it will get solved. There could be some issues to where, you're not being appreciated for what you do, okay, at work or anywhere else, right? And there could be some kind of, criticism involved, or even, but I feel like it's going to get uncovered this second half of June, or start to become kind of more clear to you, and this situation is going to clear up. So if you've been having these kind of like issues with certain areas of your life and what you're doing on a regular basis, not feeling fully appreciated, or there's some other issues going on, I feel like it is going to clear up. Now, this Seven of Swords reversed is the reason I say that. There could have been something that was going on that was like, it was kind of under the radar and somewhat like hidden from you, or kind of of sneaky in a way, and then you became aware of it, type of a thing, and it's going to get cleared up. That's part of this kind of puzzle solving or problem solving. And when you see the issue and you see it with clarity, you're going to be able to solve it more. And I feel like with this reversed, things are going to come to light that were kind of hidden mentally and psychologically from you. Now, the key in all of this is this King of Cups here. I feel like there is a person that's going to help all this along, because when you look at the court cards, the king, queen, knights, and pages, the court cards can be either, energies, or they can be actual people in our life. And I feel like this is referring to an actual person. Now, they're probably a water sign, so Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, or they have that type of energy, or they're in a a very highly emotionally intelligent person that's going to kind of help you through this process. Maybe they're going to give you some information that you didn't have, or there's something else that's going to be, they're going to play a part in helping you solve this issue, and it will get solved, whatever it is. It's something, it could have been maybe nagging for a while now, this whole thing, and you're kind of see it more clearly. Now remember, the King of Cups does not necessarily mean male. It could be any gender or sex, okay? It's just that the kings and queens have different flavors of the cups energy, okay? So it could be any gender or sex. But I think it's going to be, the reason the king came up is I feel like it's going to be maybe someone that's going to help kind of clear this up, that is in a position of authority. Now that could be like, a boss, supervisor type of a thing, or someone in authority, but also other people that are important in our life. People that are close to us are also authority figures, because we place them in such high importance in our life. Okay, so I feel like it's going to help through this. All you really have to do is recognize the situation as it unfolds to you, and where the magician comes in is being able to handle it, correctly, which would be find the best way to handle it. Don't just take the first impulsive action or reaction in order to solve this. And I feel like when you think about it, and this person is going to help with that, think of, okay, there's lots of ways you can go. Now, the other advice card along with this Three of Pentacles is you've got the Fool card upright. Now, the Fool card this is a card, a great card. It's a card of new beginnings. It's a card of fresh starts. And for some of you, it could be this could be the beginning of like a new direction for you in your life. Okay, so for some of you, it could be like thinking about, you might not necessarily leave the current job or career you're in, but this could be the beginnings of, thinking about, I really want to change direction here. And again, that's where the education comes in. So you might say, I really have finally figured out that this direction for me is not the way to go. But I need to get some more education. I need to like go in a different direction, but I'm not maybe ready right this second, type of a thing. So it's like the beginning of realizing. Now, for some of you, yes, it could mean let's do a job change. I'm going to put my resume out there. For others, the new beginning is, even if you're not working in a career, the way it could play out is, okay, I'm going to deal with this situation, and I'm going to like hit the reset button, and I'm going to give myself a fresh start. Maybe you will change direction in some way, or you'll change the way you're interacting within the situation in your life. If you're, if it's someone that is close to you, and you have to like, whatever the situation is when it comes to light. But in any case, what I see is, I see that there's going to be some sort of a fresh start, even if it's like the beginning of that. And again, all of this is training for your North Node in Gemini and or the third house, which is a lot of your life is about problem solving. It's about solving puzzles, being clever. Not there's many ways. It's like a chessboard. Your life is like a chessboard for you, where there's different moves you can make. There's not just one move, but certain moves have a better outcome. And that's what all this is about. Figuring out what the right outcome is going to be by making the right move, type of a thing. And you will figure it out, and I feel like it's going to be with the help of this water sign related person. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal tarot reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be a link to the description box below. Thanks so much. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the 4th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Devil card reversed. Now, as I always say in my readings, the so-called scary cards aren't anything to fear, like the Death card and, the Devil. We're not talking about the literal devil. These are all symbolic. And what the Devil card is the Devil card is about, deep-seated fears and anxieties, and could be obsessions. Also, for some, it could refer to addictions, okay? Addictions of all sorts, not just, substances, but it could be addicted to pleasure, to whatever, also, food, whatever it is, okay? So it could be different kinds of addictions. Now, what I feel like that there's some area of your life where there is this fear or obsessions or things like that. I feel like it's leaving, it's going away from your life. Like it's almost like there are things that these are deep-seated, okay, things that go way back. I feel like for a lot of you, they go back to childhood. Um, and I feel like that there's these deep-seated anxieties or hang-ups or obsessions, as I said, that have their roots in childhood that you're starting to kind of get a handle on. And it's going to take a while, but you've been in this process of kind of purging them, okay? Now, for some of you in your life, along with this, you may be dealing somewhere in your life where you're dealing with someone close to you that has addictions, which most people that are dealing with addictions are dealing with things that are deep seated, and usually from some sort of like trauma when they're younger, or like some sort of childhood issues. But for each of you, what I feel like this is going away. Like this problem is beginning to become solved, okay? And I just feel like the energy is kind of leaving, like this fear. Really, what's at the core of it for you is what I'm feeling is that there has been, maybe for a long time in your life, just like a feeling of insecurity just in general in life. And you see that a lot when you look at like either North Node in Cancer or North Node in Capricorn, okay? Either one, because we call that the security polarity or security axis. And you see that these are kind of deep-seated kind of fears, right? But as I said, I feel like they're moving away, and I feel like you're getting stronger as this is kind of dissipating. Now we'll get some clarity. We'll look at your timeline cards. You've got the 9 of Cups upright. You've got the Empress card reversed. You've got also the 4 of Pentacles reversed. Now, the 9 of Cups is a beautiful card. This is the emotional wish fulfillment card. This is the wish card. And along with this 10 of Cups, okay, both upright, you're in a period of your life where this is why this is healing, okay? You are allowing, you've worked through emotionally so much in your life. And that's what's key, is the more that you step into your North Node in Cancer and or the 4th house, and you are dealing with the emotions in your life, as opposed to the South Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house, which is, I'm just going to build a wall or I'm going to build a dungeon, throw all those feelings down and bury them and lock them away. when you're dealing with them, which a lot of you have been doing, what you're doing is you're freeing yourself up. And that's why I see that you're in this position now in your life where you are being freed. Now, why did I say that it has to do with deep-seated things from childhood? Well, with this Empress card reversed, one of the things that this card represents is it can represent the mother, or it can represent a parent, not necessarily a mother. But when you look at the Emperor card and the Empress card, they can be a card of parental authority. Okay, now this could be not necessarily just the mother, but the reason that the Empress would come up is that there is this safety and security and nurturing factor that's different than the Emperor card. Okay, when we're talking about parental kind of authority and parental experience. Okay, and so this is reversed, and I think that a lot of you, what you're dealing with is there could have been just some issues that the reason that life has been happening the way it has for many years is because these are deep-seated things from childhood. Maybe, nurturing, there was some sort of issue with safety, security, nurturing, love that wasn't there, right? And it gave you this feeling of insecurity. And I feel like a lot of you are overcoming that. What you're learning is you're learning that you are safe, you are protected, you don't need to think about all those things. They were just experiences. So you're kind of healing from this, and this is what's allowing this to be kind of helping you to transform your life emotionally and really get the life you want and really experience the life you want. Now, the Four of Pentacles along with this reversed is that, the feeling that you've had, that you can have when you have a placement of your North Node in Cancer and or the fourth house, is it could be a feeling of feeling too vulnerable. Okay, and when you see people that, let's say, had issues from childhood where maybe they weren't as felt as secure as they could have, as opposed to a very secure upbringing, it can lead to kind of insecurities or a feeling of vulnerability. But as I said, I feel like that's you're learning that your strength is coming from within you. Your life is being directed by you. You're the one that is now making the decisions. Yes, you may have gone through things since childhood, but I feel like a lot of those, as I said, are kind of, melting away, and you're realizing that you can feel vulnerable at times, but you're not vulnerable. You're not completely vulnerable because you always have that strength from within. Now, why do I say that? Let's look at this other advice card. So you've got the Seven of Wands. This is the ability to stand your ground. This is the ability to deal with things, these could be, past battles. They could be things that are from childhood. They could be things that are current. Okay. But you have what it takes you have the strength within you to deal with that no matter what. And that's a great thing that you're learning. You're learning that you make your own security. You make your own life, and that you are going to be the person that, and give the security that maybe you never experienced. You are able to give that to the world. But really what this is all boiling down to is this is realizing that you have the inner strength to make the life that you want, and you're beginning to feel this. And I feel like the more you can let go of the anxiety and things from the past and anything that you're dealing with right now, you have what it takes to deal with it, to stand your ground, not feel like you need to be protected by anybody necessarily, but you have kind of what it takes to kind of deal with various situations in your life. So yeah, it is a beautiful thing. And again, like I said, with these two wonderful, the Wish card and emotional fulfillment, you have it within your power to make this happen. The more that you can kind of release those old fears, the more you're going to experience, a better life. And I feel like most of you are on that path right now, at different levels. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be a link in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Leo and or the 5th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the 10 of Wands reversed. And when I saw this card, it was saying that one of the big themes of the second half of June is areas in your life where are you doing too much and other people aren't doing enough or carrying their share of the load? Or are there areas of your life where maybe you need to work harder at, or put some kind of effort in? One of the big themes in your life when you have a North Node in Leo and or the 5th house is it's about breaking away from the connection to the tribe. So one of the things that Aquarius, your South Node and or the 11th house rules is it rules like organizations, groups, tribes, are going back to, ancient times, right? And one of the things about the tribe is that if you felt very vulnerable if you were to leave the tribal structure or leave the organization. And as I said, this could be like families, it could be work, it could be anything. And so venturing off into your own was very uncomfortable. So for one of the things that Leo North Nodes or North Nodes in the 5th house have to deal with is the feeling of like they're not being supported enough in life. The reason for that is because they're so used to that kind of group or tribal structure, right? And so one of the things is about going out and being independent. So where do you need to forge, go more, off into your own? Or where can you, for some of you, it's going to be like, are there areas of your life where others can also kind of help you? Okay, so for each of you, it's going to be different. You're going to have to find this balance. Let's look at your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Moon card upright. You've got the 5 of Pentacles reversed. And you've got the Queen of Pentacles upright. So beginning with the Moon card, what's happening the second half is there are some aspects of your life that you weren't seeing clearly. There were kind of hidden aspects that you just weren't seeing, and I feel like they're going to come to light this second half. Like you're going to see things, in a new way. One of the things that this could refer to is, for example, with this 5 of Pentacles is, as I mentioned earlier, that the feeling of like not being supported in life. That's a big thing whenever I am doing readings for people with their North Node in Leo and or the 11th house, is they just feel like they really need a support structure around them at all times. And the thing about it is that it kind of never goes away. Like it's always like, how come I'm not getting supported in this or that in my life? And it could be this feeling of just, as I said, not other people not carrying their load type of a thing. And really what this is saying is that this is pushing you out into more independence, because like you have what it takes to do whatever you need to do. And that could be one area where maybe you need to take on, kind of more burdens. The more you do that is when you're going to like really see success in all areas of your life. When you have the ability to like not wait around for other people's approval or help type of a thing. And I feel like there's going to be some area or areas of your life the second half of June where, as I said, this is going to kind of come to light and you're going to realize that. Now, where it's headed here is with this Queen of Pentacles is, this is a card of, being confident and independent in your skills. It can be building everything from, you know, wealth. It can be building health. Anything of value in your life will be helped by this, that you have what it takes. Everybody, remember, the thing about Leo North nodes or North nodes in the fifth house is you have one of the North nodes that the more that you go out there and put yourself out there and reach for what you want, and the ability to stand out from the crowd, the ability to walk away from support structures, doesn't mean you don't have support structures. It means you have the ability to stand and carry the burdens of walking out. The more you do that, the more success you'll see in all areas of your life. And it seems the scary thing is, like this Five of Pentacles is saying, is that, you know, it can feel like you're out in the cold and you're on your own, and it's very uncomfortable, right? But when you get used to doing that, you're going to see that you do have everything it takes to kind of achieve that. Now, for some of you, as I said, there's going to be areas of your life where you might need to recruit people, because you do, there are people have responsibilities that in our lives where, you know, we can't do things on our own. And so that could be something for some of you where that's going to come to light, where you're going to see, like, you know, I wish, you know, this person would do that, or I wish that, you know, this person at work would, you know, help with that. And so it's all about that. It's like your support structures are a resource that you don't need to rely on all the time, but they should be there as a resource that you can tap into when you need it. And that's what this reverse 10 of Wands is saying. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the 10 of Pentacles upright, and you've got the Five of Wands reversed. So all of the five cards, when the five is reversed, it's helping the situation, because fives are about change, right? So what's transforming in your life when you're able to do this is calming any sort of chaotic energy that is around you. Like, the more that you can not wait around for people's approval and for their help and for their support, when you can act independently, but then go back as a resource, you know, from time to time. But what this does is it creates more, like, order in your life. It creates more stability, and any sort of chaos that you might be experiencing in different areas of your life will kind of go away, because you're not waiting around or relying. But it's this balance, you know, there is a time when we do need support structures, right? But we can't always rely on them. So we have to have this balance of being able to, first and foremost, kind of step out and step into our own power. Now, the other thing that this is saying with this 10 of Pentacles is, you know, this is a card of, you know, not only legacy and stability, but this is like about future building. This skill of being able to balance between tapping into the resource of support structures around us, but also having the ability to be independent of those support structures, is a huge thing in making the life that you want. It's one of the main skills that you are learning in this lifetime, to step out. And remember, you will always be rewarded for taking leadership roles, for doing things that are not necessarily approved by the crowd. Okay, this is stepping into your power. This is you stepping into your highest, strongest self. Okay, remember, you're stepping into Leo, the fifth house. This is a person that is stepping into their own, like, divinity and their own dignity. Okay, and at times it can feel uncomfortable, but when you do this on a regular basis, it's going to help stabilize and get rid of any sort of kind of chaotic energy that, you know, could be going on in your life. But anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be a link in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Virgo and or the sixth house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you for the second half of June is the Two of Wands upright. And what I feel like is going on is I feel like that the second half of June, there's going to be things that have to do with your past experiences, not only in this life, but also past lives. Because in this lifetime, remember, for you North Nodes in Virgo and or the sixth house, it's all about bringing your experiences to the practical real world, right? To how, where they can help you and where they can help others. And I feel like that in order to like forge and create the world that you're trying to create, which is your best life, there's going to be experiences that are going to come into play that are going to help you and also help you understand kind of what is going on in your life and to help you kind of solve different things, but basically to kind of create the life that you want. So I feel like the second half of June, these past experiences are going to come into play and that are going to help you out to figure things out. Now your timeline cards, you've got the Five of Swords reversed, you have the Hierophant upright, and you've got the King of Wands reversed. Um, I feel like each of these cards is representing a different experience that you've had in different ways. Well, starting with the Five of Swords reversed, there was a situation that you went through that from, and I feel like this is all this life and past lives, but because a lot of times the patterns are repeating, where you went through something where it was like a very kind of messy thing psychologically. Like there could have been things where not nice things were said, not nice words were exchanged, like a very kind of negative energy, and as I said, like a lot of like negative communication. And I feel like, you've learned from that, because what you learned was how to recognize these type of people in your life. And for whatever reason, I feel like this is coming back. This is almost like kind of a replaying of this, but in order to understand the value of your experiences. Like I feel like for each of you, you might think back like, yeah, I went through that. It wasn't fun, but I learned a lot. I learned about who I am truly as a person. I learned definitely who they were in this relationship. And I think enough time has passed to where you are able to make sense of it. But again, it's this learning from your experiences and being able to make them, useful. Like you are a stronger, better person than you were because having gone through that. Now, this second experience, the Hierophant, has to do with like an authority figure. Like it could be belief systems, some sort of like strict structures in your life, like maybe growing up and things were very kind of strict and one way type of a thing, or things that you've gone through that were very like confining and things that were not allowing you to be you, that you had to deal with. So this could be everything from parental structures, it could be through different jobs that you had, through your schooling, okay? And but this is representing like almost like this, yeah, it could be religion, but this is just any sort of like dominant support structures that were kind of oppressive to you, that you've realized you had to like break away from that. But again, it's made you the person that you are today, having gone through that, learning that you can stand independently and stand in your power, and that you can, it's something that you went through and you survived, and you're able to become more of an individual. And I almost feel like this energy was trying to kind of like absorb you, like when someone grows up with very strict religious political belief systems around them, and sometimes it takes them in for good or for forever. But I feel like this is something to where you were able to step away from it. And as I said, it could be anything that is very kind of strict and confining. The other thing that you're learning about your experiences is you've got this this King of Wands reversed, and I feel like this is referring to different relationships that you have about with your own personal power. One of the things that happens when you have your North Node in Virgo and or the sixth house is there could be intense relationship situations that come up, and this could be through, friends, family, intimate partnerships, even work relationships, where you go through something that it feels at the time, and maybe even for a few years or a few months or whatever, you go through these things that feel disempowering, and you've gotten through this, right? And I feel like what you're doing is you've learned that, after we've all went through things where we feel at some point disempowered, and there's always this need for all of us, but especially for you North Nodes in Virgo, and or the sixth house, where you feel this need to get your power back. And I feel like that's a huge experience that you've gone through. To go through something to where you feel disempowered, and then to get that power back is a really wild and powerful experience, as opposed to someone that's never gone through that. Someone that's never actually felt disempowered and then been able to step into their power like you have. And this could be from a small thing. It could be from years ago, maybe a friendship, or a intimate partnership, whatever it is. But you were able to get through that. And really what this is all saying is all these experiences you're realizing the second half of June are helping to build your world, to build the life that you want. They all have value. And that's something that, when you realize that your experiences have value, even the tough ones, the good ones and the bad ones, all of them have an ability to enrich your life because you can learn from them. Now, your two advice cards here, you've got the Four of Wands upright, and you've got the Empress card reversed. So the Four of Wands is saying that, what is really happening right now is in June, you're going to look back, there's going to be some replaying of things. And when you look at it, you're realizing that it has helped you become the person that you are today. And that even though there's more work to get done, that's what this Emperor is saying. This Empress is saying there's more work to get done, but it's helping to stabilize your life. It's helping, you should celebrate this because these experiences have value in it. People that haven't gone through what you've gone through don't know what it's like. They don't have that rich experience, okay? And the value in it is now you know things. You know who it is you want, who it is you don't want, what it is you want to experience, what it is you don't want to experience. It gives you this depth of character that has value. And what that depth of character does is it enriches your life. So it's like this celebration of your life and where you've gone and what you've been through. Now, as I said, the Empress card reversed is saying that there's more work to be done, okay? This is a work in progress, okay? This is, you standing in your full rich power. This is going to be the lifelong thing where the more you do this, the more you're stepping into this energy. But there's more work to be done. Realize that everything that you've gone through as they've come up, think about, okay, I went through that, but I am a better, stronger, more intelligent, more resilient person that I was before that, okay? No matter how tough that was, I am a deeper, more involved person in who I am and what really makes my life valuable, okay? And so this is a work in progress. Keep embracing that. Realize that your experiences are there to guide you, help you, and not only you, but those around you. You have this rich experience that you can share with other people. And as I said, it is very, very valuable to not only yourself, but to others, but really to kind of make sense why you went through that. Okay. But yeah, very, very powerful reading, and go through these memories and really try to say what it is that they brought you that is of value. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you Libra's North Node or 7th house North Node is the 8 of Wands. And the interesting thing about this card is this is a card about like really fast forward movement. And what I'm feeling like for most of you is that life seems to be like lots of areas of your life are moving at like hyperspeed, or like things are just developing and moving kind of very quickly. But almost like the feeling I'm getting is like almost like it's moving like too fast, you know? But then other areas of your life might feel stagnant. So it's like this strange energy of like maybe the collective and life in general seems to be moving fast. I mean, here we are. I don't know about you, but it's, you know, we're in the middle of the year. The year's gone by so fast. So I just feel like this fast movement, but also there's certain areas of the life for you that may seem stagnant. But there could be a feeling of like kind of being disoriented, because the feeling of being like movement of like fast movement and then like slow and stagnation, it can be kind of disorienting. Now there's a reason for that. It's because that you're being prepared for something, and as we're going to see in your timeline, that is going to help kind of clarify some things in your life. Okay, so your timeline cards, you've got the 10 of Pentacles upright, you've got the Moon card upright, and you've got the 9 of Swords upright. Okay, so what I feel like is going on is that there is the reason that this disorientation is happening, and things seem to be moving, you know, almost too quickly in some areas of your life, or kind of too slow or stagnant in other areas, is that there is something that's about being revealed to you this second half of June regarding like a puzzle piece of your family legacy. Now, for each of you, it'll be slightly different, but what I mean by that is there's something that is coming to light that is helping you to try to make sense of your past, which helps you then make sense of your current situation. And so I think that there's this missing puzzle piece. Now, for some of you, it's going to come where you'll hear something, or something will be relayed to you in some way. Okay. But as I said, I feel like it has something to do with your family's legacy. In other words, putting the puzzle pieces together where you finally understand something. Maybe it's something where you finally understand your childhood or past relationships. So it doesn't necessarily mean family from when you were a child, although for a lot of you it's going to be that. It could also be like family relationships from in your personal relationships. Okay, but something is going to kind of come to light of that, and this Moon card is showing that, where there was something that was kind of, it was hidden from you, not necessarily for most of you on purpose, but it was just something that anytime we don't see something or perceive something correctly, it's essentially kind of hidden from our consciousness. And it could be not necessarily done on purpose, right? But something about this situation is going to kind of come to light. And when you see things in a more clearer picture, in a clearer light, it's going to help kind of make you understand where you're at right now on your path better, because you're going to put the pieces together in a better way. Because I feel like for a lot of you, there's been these like kind of choppy pieces where maybe you've even separated parts of your life in the past, and just like, in other words, like kind of burn that bridge. I'm getting the feeling of like burning bridges and then kind of, you know, moving forward. without really like looking back on the past too much. And again, that's why it's like there's always been this energy of like, well, press on, we're going to move forward, and there's this forward moving energy. But you're being asked to kind of like recognize something. Now, the way you're going to recognize it is some of the things that you could be going through is there could have been like a period of time, like the last, few weeks to several months. Again, for each of you, it's different, where there could be this general kind of anxiety or angst that you've been experiencing off and on, and part of this kind of, disorientation. And this, I feel like, is what's going to be cleared up. Like some missing pieces of the puzzle are going to finally be put together. It could be like maybe you understand a past relationship better, with a parent or a sibling or an old workmate or a romantic partner or something like that. Okay, you're going to understand it better, and it's going to help you kind of move forward. You're going to, because that a lot of times, we've all experienced where we've experienced something and then moved on, but years later we look back with a bigger perspective and say like, okay, I understand that why this happened and my part in it, or that it was for the higher good type of a thing. But essentially what this is doing is, if you're experiencing any sort of this kind of hanging around of this anxiety, just not feeling at ease, I think that that's kind of, going to be disappearing, and it's because of this missing puzzle piece that's coming in. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Hierophant upright, and you've got the Seven of Wands reversed. The Seven of Wands is interesting because when this card is reversed, it can mean a lot of things, like you aren't ready for challenge, right? But I don't think that's what this means in this case. I think this is referring to your South Node, where part of your path in this lifetime, okay, part of your path is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, okay? Because remember, your South Node is in Aries and or the first house, which ruled by Mars, which you don't like to, essentially you don't like to lose, right? None of us do, but particularly you don't like to have to be wrong. You don't like to be the one that has to compromise. You don't like to be the one that, for the most part, okay, we're taking Aries South Node in its like pure form. And it just doesn't feel right, but also feeling vulnerable. Like, in other words, one of your instincts is you always have a need to feel strong and on top of things, right? But part of this life for you is the ability to sit in something where you're vulnerable, where you're not the one who's always right, or you're not the one that is always going to be on top of things, okay? The ability to sit in that energy, right? Because there's something very beautiful in that, right? Like when we see, there's, I guess they call them like, you call them like good losers and bad losers, right? When we see a match between, two, it could be two people or a team or whatever, and it's a hard fought match, obviously both want to win, right? But always remember that, winning only has meaning because that there is such a thing as not winning or losing, right? But when we see two, people or two entities, teams or whatever, that battle it out, and one of them is victorious, and when the other team comes and has, a great attitude and is humble and say, good job, and they're able to realize that, they're allowing themselves to be vulnerable, and that's part of the energy of this lifetime. And I think that's what's kind of coming in for you, is realizing that, okay, looking back on things, it helps you to put things in perspective, different relationships in the past and whatnot. Because when we keep moving through life and we just say, okay, we burn this bridge, we burn this bridge, we burn this bridge, and we keep moving forward. It's all good and all fun and games, as long as we're moving forward. But at some point, especially when life maybe begins to slow down and it seems like it's rushing past us and we have to look back, it's very uncomfortable seeing all those kind of burnt bridges. And as I said, this is helping you to understand like your place in this. Now, the Hierophant is interesting because this is a card of, yes, tradition, but it's a card of personal belief systems and philosophy. And one of the big things that's changing is when you go through this and you're able to put in perspective things that have happened and the way that things have unfolded, it gets you to have this deeper understanding of your life and gives you and changes your belief system. And you're like, I believed this about all of these things, but maybe I need to make some adjustments in these beliefs, type of a thing. And what it does is it helps kind of clarify your life. And when that happens, that's when this nagging anxiety that you could be feeling is kind of like melting away. So just this second half of June, allow yourself to look back, allow yourself to look at relationship legacies, family legacies, and understand them at a deeper level. And when you do that, and if you're able to really kind of see things and realize that sometimes in certain situations when you look back, you're not going to be the hero or the one that's right, and that's okay. Even if you did that with just one thing and you're able to look back, and I did this recently, okay, because I have my Pluto in the first house, so it's a very similar energy where you look back and you say, okay, yes, this and this happened, but what kind of did I do? What part did I play in that? And I didn't see it at the time. And it just this helps you, and this basically enriches your life. And when you do that, you're going to see that it's going to clear up your path. Stagnant areas of your life are going to start to move freely. You're going to start to flow more, and it's all for your highest good. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Fool card reversed. Now, the Fool card is a great card. I always explain this because when we think of the word, we call someone a fool, it's like a negative connotation. But really all it is it's like a childlike exuberance. It's like new beginnings. It's a childlike wonderment of maybe being optimistic, to a fault, right? But when we were younger, we were just thinking that like our whole life's ahead of us. So it's that type of an energy. And it just means, a card, it could be, instead of saying the fool, you could say the inexperienced or possibly naive. So it's not necessarily a negative. Now, the reason that this is reversed is when I saw this card, I was feeling like for a lot of you that what's happening right now in your life is there's an area or areas of your life that you are craving a new beginning on, like to turn the page, to start a new beginning. But it's a certain area of or areas of your life. For each of you, it'll be different. It could be, some of you, it could be career, some of it could be in relationships. For some of you, it could be like health and fitness. I mean, for each of you, different, and there could be multiple areas, but it's this feeling of like, I need this new beginning. I need this new thing. Now, the reason that this is happening is, remember, your North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house is ruled by the planet Mars and also Pluto. This is a North Node of transformation, okay? One of the big things in your life that you will experience and probably have experienced before is, even to where it's uncomfortable, like being pushed toward transformation, like always transforming areas of your life, or feeling like, like you need to, or the need to. And maybe, sometimes you don't really want to transform. You want to stay in that south node of like Taurus and stability and structure, right? Or the second house, same thing. But you've been kind of pushed toward that. And what I think is that you're feeling the need of, it's time that there's certain parts of my life that I need to kind of transform. Now we'll get into your timeline cards to get some more clarity on what those areas could be. So on your timeline, you've got the 5 of Pentacles upright. You've got the Queen of Pentacles upright. And you've got the Queen of Wands. Okay. We'll start with the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, this is referring to all of the pentacles are represented by the earth signs, okay? So Taurus is among them. This is referring to your south node in Taurus and or the second house, which this card rules. And what this is saying is that part of you, like part of the discomfort is, part of you wants to stay where you're at, but you're also feeling the need to transform. But the key here is to step out of that kind of Taurus second house energy. And the way you're going to do that is through this 5 of Pentacles, okay? The 5 of Pentacles is about recognizing the need for assistance. Okay, you see on this card, the symbology is, you can see that these people are in ragged clothes. One of them is on a crutch that's hurt, bandaged around his head and his leg, right? And they're walking out in the snow, and he's looking back at this warm, glowing window, which could be like some sort of, a church or cathedral or refuge of some sort. It looks very warm and inviting. And like, why can't we go in there? One of the things about having your north node with your south node in Taurus or the second house is, part of your gifts are the ability to be independent. I will do things on my own. I don't need anybody else. I can do it on my own. But in this lifetime, with this Scorpio in the 8th house, north node in Scorpio and or the 8th house, it's about the need and ability to connect with people on an energetic level. The 8th house rules other people's assistance, other people's money for us, right? And so it's about having to learn to rely on others. And see, that's the key. The transformation in your life is really going to come when you're able to connect with other people, able to accept assistance and help from other people. All of those things are really good for your north node. But again, like I said, with this Queen of Pentacles, there's this kind of push-pull thing. So you need to look around in your life, like, where is it that you can get help and assistance from. Now, the Queen of Wands here is also being connected to this Knight of Wands, which is one of your advice cards. All of the court cards, so the King, Queen, Knights, and Pages, can be energies, just overall energies in situations, or they can be actual people. In this case, what I think that this Knight of Wands and this Queen of Wands is that there is a person or people in your life that's an untapped resource that you may it may come to your consciousness, an idea of, well, maybe I can partner with this person, or there's some sort of help, whether that be a simple thing as advice or some sort of physical help. But the reason that there's wands here is because this wands are referring to energy, both physical, mental, and emotional, and all sorts of energy, this person is here for you. And I think there's multiple people that are here for you, that can help energize you on, a new beginning in your life. The new beginning in your life is, one of the things about the Fool card, which is interesting, is when the Fool card is reversed, instead of the Fool forging out completely by himself, kind of leaving the little dog behind, when he's reversed, the dog becomes important. Like, don't forget your partnerships. Don't forget people around you that can help you. You're not alone in this, type of a thing. And so that's what I'm saying, that there's some people around you that are there for you to help energize you in your situation and your life regarding this new beginning. And we'll look at the time or the advice cards here. So as I said, you've got the Knight of Wands, and then you've got the Six of Swords reversed. So going on with the Knight of Wands is, again, what this is doing is that this is the energy from the resources around you, the people and resources around you. The energy is going to help move you forward in this new beginning. And that's because, all of the knights are cards of movement. So this is a card that's going to help move you forward when you're able to tap into the resources of kind of people and situations around you. Now, the Six of Swords reversed is saying, like, look, it's gonna the way this is gonna feel sometimes is having to accept help and assistance from people doesn't feel comfortable all the time. It feels like, it's like a sticky situation. It would be better if I could just, why can't I just do things independently? It feels much more kind of cleaner and freer to just act on your own without having to need anybody else. Okay, that's what this is saying. And when you're going to have this feeling when you first start doing this, it might feel uncomfortable, like when you accept help and assistance from people and resources around you. It's going to feel weird because it's going to feel like I'm not free. I'm not free. It's that kind of a thing. Okay, but you'll get used to it. Remember, it's good for you to accept that help and from those resources around you. But it is, I'm not going to lie to you, it's gonna feel kind of weird sometimes, especially when you start doing it. But when you realize that you're giving a gift, when you're able to allow people to help and assist you and help situations, you're helping them to fulfill something within them. Think about, we've all experienced the fact where you really want to give something to somebody, right? Like, hey, can I do this for you? Or can I give you this or whatever? And for whatever reason, they feel uncomfortable when they say no. Not in a bad way. They just say no, no, thank you, or whatever. But how does that make you feel? They've just denied you that good feeling of, you've been wanting to give, out of your own generosity, right? So what you're doing by accepting this help is, it's not a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of you partnering up, but also allowing other people to feel strong. And then that's where that partnership kind of comes in. But yeah, it's a very, very powerful thing. And what this is going to do is, overall, when you learn this, it's going to help you initiate these kind of new beginnings in your life, that this need of, you've been feeling like this transformation that needs to happen. So yeah, very, very powerful second half of June for you. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Sagittarius and or the 9th house. The theme card that popped out for you is the Judgment card reversed. And when I saw this card, I think that the second half of June, what's happening for you, North Nodes in Sagittarius or the 9th house, is that there's an area or areas of your life that you are getting more clarity on or are awakening to, like almost like solving something. There's an area where you're becoming aware of something that wasn't there before. It's like this awakening, almost like an aha moment. And it's going to be, for some of you, it's going to be in multiple areas of your life. For some of you, it's just going to be in a certain key area of your life. And you're becoming aware of it in order to kind of make sense of it it's going to like kind of free you up in some way. Something that was confusing, I feel like, and you're going to get more clarity on. And it's like, I think we've all experienced that, where we look back on something that may have happened a while ago, maybe even years, and then we look at it in a new way because of our life experience or things we've gone through, and we gain a little bit more, like, hopefully knowledge and wisdom as we move throughout the years. And it could even be something that happened a year ago or whatever, but we just kind of all of a sudden look at it in a new way, and we get clarity, and we're like, wow, like, I completely didn't understand that. And that's what the Judgment card is. It's a wake-up call. And especially, I think that, this card, whenever you see an angel on a tarot card, it's that there's something that's very karmic to that. But this is very like the universe has been trying to kind of get your attention about this. And I feel like this second half of June, a lot of you are going to start to have this kind of new clarity, as I said, in a certain area of your life. Now, the timeline cards are interesting. You've got the Two of Swords upright. You've got the Six of Swords upright. And you've got the Eight of Wands reversed. Starting with the Two of Swords, right? So the reason why this awakening is happening is you're going to realize that you weren't seeing something or perceiving something in your life in a correct way. Like, it wasn't that you were doing it on purpose, but it's like it didn't occur to your mind, to your emotional body, to your consciousness. Like, you just didn't see it before. And so when you finally feel that opening up, it's like when we finally have realizations about things, it helps open us up, and you're going to actually feel that. So it's not something that you were intentionally ignoring. It's just that you just didn't see it or perceive it. Now, these two cards here, the Six of Swords upright and the Eight of Wands reversed, these are both cards of movement. And you could see here that, this is like mentally moving away from something that was a troubling issue, moving away from something that was some sort of a difficulty, okay? Making sense of it mentally, right? But the Eight of Wands is interesting because it's saying, like, when it's reversed, it's saying, whoa, don't go too fast. So during this process, what's really important is when you have this realization about something, don't move through it too quickly. Like, in other words, it's not something to where, oh, okay, I see that in a different way. Okay, and that's it, and you move on, right? That would be like moving away too quickly. But when you have this realization about some area of your life, kind of ponder it for a bit, okay? Now, this is important because remember, part of your life path of Sagittarius and the ninth house is finding the truth, finding your truth. And in order to understand that, it's about, your personal belief system, your philosophy, finding, as I said, your truth. And you can't do that too quickly. And so that's what this is saying is you're going to have this opportunity to kind of like think about, well, okay, I thought that, and now I think something different. But why did I think that? Why did I have that kind of perception? That's kind of what I'm talking about. And then over here, your advice cards are kind of saying the same thing. So you've got the Four of Cups reversed, and you've got the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is saying that what is going to help you is this, you have to connect with this on more than just the mental level, more than just the logical level. It has to connect with you emotionally. You have to not only understand it intellectually, but you have to feel it. You have to feel this area of your life and feel why it's important that it happened in the past and why it's important that you are seeing things in a new light. But you have to understand this at an emotional level. And then this Four of Cups reversed is saying the reason it's adding to this, like, not moving too quickly on this, the reason that you would want to, like, not move too quickly through this, but maybe understand it more, on the philosophical level or at the deeper level, Sagittarius, ninth house, right? Education, higher education, is you want to, there's a chance that you'll miss something. Okay, and so you could see here that this person is sitting here kind of dejected or just in a ponderance over these three cups, but he's completely missing this other cup that's being held out by the universe, right? So it's important that you're able to not move too quickly through this process so you can, understand it at a deeper level and not miss anything, okay? Because that would be a shame for you to move too quickly through it and not fully get the full education from it, right? But this is all a positive thing. This is really what this is doing is this is helping free up a lot of like stuck or stagnant energy where you can, it's going to help you move forward and help you move toward your ultimate goal of finding what your truth is, what your life should be, what you really feel where you need to go, and that this is kind of helping you along that path. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that came out for you is the Two of Cups. And what this card is saying, and what I felt like automatically when I saw this for you North Nodes in Capricorn or the 10th house, is that the second half of June, there's going to be some sort of like reconciliation or kind of healing that's going on between, you and another person or persons. Could be multiple people or a situation. But for most of you, it's going to be like a person in some sort of a relationship. Now, that could be, friends, family, intimate partnerships, work relationships, so on and so forth, right? So for each of you, it'll be different. Now, there could be multiple relationships that this is, applying to, but there's some sort of like, as I said, a healing going on or kind of understanding it at a deep level. But the thing about this is that the reason that the issue came about was because a difference, the person, you and this other person or people or situation are just on the outside so different, like just a different type of a person altogether. And that those are the most difficult relationships for us to deal with and get along with, are the people that think differently than us completely, or act different, or have different energy or different values. Okay, it's really hard. It's easy to get along with people that think and act exactly like us, and that's what this card really, the deeper meaning of this card is. You have two individuals that when you just look at the card, they're just very different. One is in this like, blue tunic with white and a green wreath around her head, and then the other person has this black and yellow, with a red bandana, very, very different people. That's what it's signifying. And this is the difference between like, all kinds of energies, belief systems, genders, political systems, all of that. Okay. There's just this difference in that we need to find a way to get along. Now, I feel like that's something that is a skill building situation for you this second half, and I feel like there's going to be some sort of coming to an understanding with some area or relationship in your life. Now, your timeline cards, what they're bearing out is you've got the Ace of Pentacles upright, you've got the Ace of Cups upright, and you've got the King of Pentacles upright. Now, the King of Pentacles is referring to your North Node in Capricorn or the 10th house. The King, all Pentacles rule all of the earth signs, among them Capricorn and the 10th house, right? And what's happening here is that you're given the opportunity to understand yourself and this situation, and it is strengthening you in some way. It's helping you to grow into your path more, for you to mature into your path. Part of a key word for, Capricorn North Node, or North Node in the 10th house, is a going into maturity. Now, when I say maturity, it doesn't necessarily mean age, okay? Because someone could be 50 years old and they are still needing to step into maturity, okay? I'm talking about the maturity of their essential soul path, okay? That's what I'm talking about here. And I feel like that's what's happening here. You're going to all kind of, I think each of you to a certain level are going to kind of level up into this, maturing on your path, which is, there's a wisdom in understanding and getting along with people in different situations, but you also standing in your power, they're standing in their power. Now, these other two cards here, these aces, you've got the Ace of Pentacles and you've got the Ace of Cups here. What this is doing is, this is a beautiful blending, because the cups is signifying lots of things, but it's signifying the gifts that you have from your South Node in Cancer and or the 4th house, which is, emotional intelligence, which is a depth of emotion, which is understanding, your intuition and all of those things, right? But now you're blending it with this Ace of Pentacles, which is ruling your Capricorn or 10th house North Node, which is stepping into the practical areas of life and realizing that I can have both. I can have the maturity and the strength of stepping into my Capricorn 10th house power, as well as having the gifts of my South Node. And so this is a blending of energies. It's a meeting of two separate energies. And when you experience this, you're going to feel at the end of the month just slightly more empowered. Like, obviously, your path might not be perfect. I mean, it's an ongoing thing for all of us, but you're going to feel better. You're going to feel like, okay, I've kind of stepped into a new era of my life path. Okay. And that's always a positive thing. Now, your two advice cards, you've got the Two of Wands reversed, and you've got the World card reversed. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Both of these cards have a world on them. Okay. You've got the actual World card. And if you look closely, the Two of Wands here, this person is holding a world or a globe in their hands. Now, the reason that this is reversed is because the world always wants to, it's one of those cards that's positive when it's reversed, and it always wants to turn upright. It's always trying to turn itself upright. And what this is saying is, this is the beginning of a work in progress, okay? So what you're doing here is, you have to realize that each time you level up, you're getting one step closer to having and experiencing your best life, or the world you want to live in. And then the Two of Wands here is getting you to understand that, learning about the world you want to live in, you're realizing that it does take kind of some work. It takes some thought. It takes some effort being put into it. So essentially, you can have the ability to be a co-creator with the universe in your height. You're not on your own. You're not supposed to completely rely on others mentally and emotionally and physically, okay, like a South Node in Cancer. But you're not here to be the lone wolf either. You're here to have this blending of both, where you can rely on relationships and situations when you need to, but you also have the strength to initiate and kind of help create the world you want. That's the co-creation. The co-creator isn't like, you sit back and then the world in the universe creates for you. And it's this co-creation. So that's one of the things that you're learning in all of this. And you're going to see that whatever this is for you, that this reconciliation or coming to an understanding with this person or situation is going to help build this. It's this skill building for you to kind of step into this kind of, and I feel like for all of you, it's like a new era of who you are and who you can be in your life. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. Okay, interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the Hanged Man. And the interesting thing about this second half of June is I've noticed with a lot of the North Nodes that there's this energy of like new beginnings or seeing their life and their path in new ways, like new awakenings. Now, this is a card of realization. It's a card of perspective, of seeing things in a different way. But this was the first time that the Hangman's come up this month, and it's for you North Nodes in Aquarius or the 11th house. But going along with that, what you're learning is that there is a wisdom in of non-action, of not doing something. That's one of the things that this card is kind of signifying. Like the reason that this card has these kind of deep mythological meanings is you could see that the hangman is turned upside down, hanging from a tree, one foot behind the other, both hands tied, behind his back, right? And so what this is signifying is that you are gaining a realization in your life, not through anything that you need to do, but it's something what you need to be. So it's not about doing, but it's about being. And that, I think, the second half of June, I think that's what is happening. And it makes sense, because as we this is a big like change of seasons. We're moving into the official summer solstice. And so we're seeing these kind of new beginnings that are happening for a lot of the North Nodes. But for you, as I said, it's this realization that it's more wise sometimes not to do something. Now, on your timeline cards, you've got the Hierophant reversed. You've got the Queen of Wands upright. And you've got the Seven of Cups reversed. So starting with the Queen of Wands here, okay, this is a card that is signifying your South Node in Leo and or the 5th house. Realizing that, the gifts, most people that have this Leo South Node are, or South Node in the 5th house, are like super creative, or people that have the ability for leadership, that have the ability to, stand out and are not afraid to stand out. Usually have the gifts of also like being very open-hearted and wearing their heart on their sleeves. But what this can lead to a lot of times is it can lead to a lot of misunderstandings, because in this lifetime with your North Node, you're not here to necessarily like stand out and take a leadership role, but you're here to actually be part of the tribe, to be part of the family, to be part of the organization, to be equal partners with, because the 11th house in Aquarius rules the collective, right? And so a lot of times that means that, it might feel like you're not using the natural gifts that you have because you want to share them and give them. You have these abilities inside you, which will never go away. So the struggle here, the reason that the hangman is here in this reading is because when you hold back and you're able to just be part of the collective, your gifts will be accepted in a better way, and it really helps you on your path. And so that's what this is saying. This is saying that this is all about kind of taming that South Node tendency of the need to take action. And when you do that, you gain more clarity in your life. Now, the clarity that I mean is like you could see this Seven of Cups. One of the things about having your North Node in Aquarius or the 11th house is there can be emotional confusion because you don't understand why you're being perceived a certain way in the world. Why are people perceiving me this way? It's because, most people that have this, South Node in the 5th house or in Leo have come from, in a past life, like a position of authority and importance, and they're used to having people kind of listen to when they say something, right? So in this lifetime, you're not supposed to be the one voice. You're just supposed to be one of many voices. And so what it can cause is it can cause this emotional confusion. Like, I don't understand. I'm just being myself. I'm trying to help the best I can. But sometimes the best help is not helping at all, just kind of sitting back and partnering up with other people. But the reason that this is reversed is this is saying that this is going to be clearing up for you if you're feeling emotional confusion, or a confusion of what direction to take emotionally in your life. I feel like that is going to be clearing up more and more as we kick off into the summer months, and throughout the whole summer. Is this is going to be clearing up, because you're going to realize, you know what, I don't have to do, I can just be. I can be there. I can add my energy to other people, that type of a thing. And then this is going to help kind of clear that up. Now, the Hierophant reversed, this is about breaking tradition, okay? And your way of thinking and the way you're moving in the world is going to be changing in a positive way. And you're going to realize that there's a wisdom in that. And that's what this is. It's like when we see the Hierophant reversed, it could be breaking out of old stuck patterns. And I think that that's what a lot of you are doing. You're realizing that the best way for you to move forward and understand your life and make sense of it is by not impulsively taking action or needing to take the lead in some area, but always going back to, that kind of collective, like, what do they think? How can I work with other people, and utilize their gifts also as well as mine. And so basically this is what's happening is there are old standing things that are breaking up in your life that were negative before, okay? And these things are like old patterns, okay? I see them kind of dissipating and breaking up. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Three of Wands upright, and you've got the Hermit card reversed. What's going to happen right now is that it's the action that you need to take right now is actually coming from your mental state and your emotional state, meaning that instead of taking physical action, the energy that you have in reserve, because you're not trying to give it in certain areas of your life, refocus it into your life. In other words, in saying like, okay, where do I want to go from here? Like, what direction do I want to take? And so as you get more clarity and you're realizing the confusion is, look, I don't need to be in the forefront. I don't need to push my agenda in this area. You hold back, and you're going to still have that energy. So where does the energy want to go? It wants to be clarified, and it wants to be pushed forward into like a creative energy. And see, this is where that Queen of Wands energy, which is about your South Node, that Leo South Node or fifth house South Node, which is super creative, you can start using that energy to project into your future, like where you want to go. The interesting thing is, remember that it'll always involve like other people. So always remember, as you're planning your future, always keep in mind, how does this affect those around me, my family, my friends, my company, so on and so forth. Always take them into consideration. And when you do that, you're going to see that it's going to be much more successful. And again, getting to this Hermit card reversed is saying that, this is about it. It's time to take this new direction. The interesting thing about the Hermit card is you see this, lamp of illumination that's highlighted, which is the same of this illumination around the head of, the Hangman here. And what this is saying is that you're taking the lamp of illumination that was something that you needed to physically hold up, like, you see this is my lamp of illumination. But what you're doing now is you're saying that, no, I don't need to push my lamp of illumination toward anybody, this is within you. You are your own lamp. And by you just being you, you will draw the resources, the people, the situations that you need. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to show people your light, because your light will just naturally come out. And that's what the hermit is saying, is that it's a matter of not needing to show your light, your wisdom, who you are, but it'll just emanate from within you, and then that's going to help create the life you want. But yeah, very powerful second half of June for you. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that came out for you is the Four of Pentacles upright. And what I was feeling like when I saw this card, like, this, like all the tarot cards, there's like multiple meanings and layers of meanings. But one of the meanings of this card, and I feel like it popped out to me, is it's about like protection or protecting resources, but in particularly like it could be like protecting energy, your energy, or what's valuable. One of the most valuable things that we have, because pentacles rule things of value, is our time, our health, our energy. Okay, and I think that basically us ourselves is we are our most valuable resource in the world. And what I feel like for this card is you're being asked, because the energy is being really wild, the astrological energies lately, and especially as we move through the summer, things look to be pretty intense. Let's face it, we all know that there's lots of intense things going on around the world. Okay. um, you Pisces north nodes, or north nodes in the 12th house, you are naturally very sensitive people. You're sensitive to energies, and that's one of the things that you're supposed to be in this lifetime, is the subtle energies that are within the universe, everything that's metaphysical, all the subtle energies of intuition and being psychic, and all of that. So what I'm getting for you is that it's really important to maintain um, energetic cleanliness right now for you. Meaning that, and we're going to get into the details of it, but like protecting and cleansing the energy that you have. And we're going to not only get into it, but why that's important, right? Because you can see here, the pentacles is there's, protection over the head, under the feet, on around the body, around the heart. Okay. That's what this is. It's about protecting yourself, because of the fact of you being so sensitive in these very crazy times. Now, your advice, or excuse me, your timeline cards are, you've got the death card reversed. You've got the Queen of Wands upright, and you've got the Nine of Swords upright. Okay, so starting with the Death card reversed. If you watch my channel for any length of time, you know when I talk about the so-called scary cards, the Tower, Death, the Devil, they're not talking about literal death or devil or whatever. What this is this is a card about transformation. Okay, this is a card about transformation. And what I'm feeling like with this death reversed is this is saying like that there is such a thing as too much or too quick transformation. Like when the energies or when situations are developing so quickly, almost like what came into my mind was like when you look at, like, for example, like a wildfire, they're happening so quickly. You want to make sure that you aren't getting caught up in the energy. And that's what I feel like, is that you want to make sure the reason you're doing this is because there could be this thing of, because you have the ability to transform so easily, that you could, this is like getting kind of sucked up into the moving energies. And so this is about kind of separating from that. Now, the Queen of Wands is saying, again, the reason I say energy is because the wands refer to physical, mental, emotional energy, all sorts of just energy in general, psychic energy, all of that. And this is about you maintaining that pure energy. The reason for that is this Nine of Swords, because what can happen is when we have if we're not taking care of our energy, if we're, allowing ourselves to be sucked in by things, by too much news or too much whatever, or being around certain people, what that can kind of pollute our energy, especially you north nodes in Pisces under the 12th house. And what can be the result of that is, like feeling, anxious and anxiety and worry and stress and all of the things about this Nine of Swords, like mental and emotional kind of worry and strife. So it's really important that right now is to have a good, routine of keeping yourself clear emotionally. A lot of times that's just a matter of, taking a warm bath or shower, or, walking out in nature, taking some deep breaths, meditation, for whatever it is. Each of you, I know, have your own kind of little ways of, kind of clearing your energy, keeping it safe and protective. And by doing that, you're gonna feel stronger. But this is the time to kind of do that. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Three of Cups reversed, and you've got the Knight of Wands upright. Again, we've got the Knight here with Wands, which is energy, which is all Knights are cards of movement. And what I'm feeling like is that you need to do things that are going to help move energy in your life, which is, as I mentioned before, like things of like, moving around, breathing, walking in nature, whatever it is you need to do. Just doing some meditation, burning some incense or something to that effect, but keep the energy moving, okay, and not letting it kind of stagnate. And that's when, they can get like a heaviness that comes in. So you want to do something to move energy along or clear it out. And a lot of times, like I said, it could be just as simple as doing some breathing and getting some extra sleep and making sure you're hydrated, all of that stuff. Now, this Three of Cups is interesting because this is saying, these are close emotional ties. This is connected to people at a very close emotional level. You could see here that, these three maidens are having their cups, which are about emotions. They're all intertwined. There is a time and a place for that. But what's really important right now is to watch where it is you're connecting your energy when it comes to other people, making sure that, are they helping your energy be its purest form? Are they helping your energy be clear, or could they be polluting your energy? And sometimes that could be they're not doing it on purpose. It could be someone who's just like, always a downer to be around and just kind of like always throwing the problems on you, or maybe energetically they're just, and you could feel it. So remember, you're so sensitive. You have this natural gift of being sensitive. When you feel like there's something that is bringing your energy down, whether that be a person or a situation, be able to take yourself out of it and recognize it. And this is also about the skill building of stepping into your power as a Pisces North Node, or North Node in the 12th house. So yeah, watch those connections emotionally with people. And if you need to, if it doesn't feel right, don't feel like you're being mean, but you don't want to connect on an energetic level with people that are kind of bringing you down energetically. But yeah, it's very important right now because, as I said, of the intensity that's going on around the world right now, and this is all reflected in the current astrology. So this summer, I would say this is not only for June, the second half of June, but I would say all throughout the summer is make sure that you make your energetic purity a very high priority in your life, and you're going to find that things will work out much better. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be a link in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings.